We moved now from the BOHT farm because they're closing, and it started raining anyhow, to the Rose Valley here, just to the west of the BOH, well, northwest. This is really a very beautiful place. I love this garden. It's 5 ringgit for foreigners, locals all pay the same to get in here. And it's a Chinese lady that started this, and she's still running this show here. She's sort of taking care of all of this. So yeah, sure, this is one of my favorite places to visit because it feels less commercialized and just a very, very beautiful rose garden. There's lots of roses. Now you might not, here in the back, sure, some roses there, quite a number, and that side quite a number of roses. It's quite a big place, so it's nice. I mean, it's not huge, but there's so much, and even a peacock or two. So for the tourist part. So let's just continue then with verse 27. So we've seen them leave off with Jesus speaking to the woman, and then ultimately the woman in the beginning, the man, he's telling about the giving her water, and then she asks about, are you greater than our father Jacob? Understandably thinking that he's less. Then she's like, oh, you are a prophet, and when the Messiah comes, he will tell us all these things. And then ultimately Jesus said, but I am he, right? And then we leave the woman because she's going to leave the scene. Why? Because the disciples return, which is again in the social structure of the day totally understandable that she will leave when these guys come back. And I mean, she would have been totally confused. There's so many things she heard that day. Wow, I mean, mind-blowing. She needed some time. Jesus knew, like with a blind man later on, he knew they need time to kind of, like to say, with the head to catch up to the rest of the body kind of idea, right? So this is then what happens. Verse 27, it shows, just then his disciples came back. They marveled that he was talking with the woman, but no one said, what do you seek, or why are you talking with her? So they came, they saw, right? And they didn't ask. Now that doesn't imply they were like standing there and now like, okay, Jesus speaking with her on the outskirts, waiting kind of. It's not kind of fully the idea that you're getting here. It's more of like they came, and at that moment he was speaking, and now when she saw that they are back, and then as well when she takes a leave of absence, so they would have seen there's not a standing waiting for while he is just already mind-blowing to him. How is this even possible that this Jesus, this rabbi, this teacher is speaking with a woman, and not even with a woman, but the Samaritan woman at that time of the day, which they then would have as well could have concluded that this woman is of a low moral stand. But they didn't ask. They didn't ask her, what are you seeking, or why are you talking with her? Because seemingly by that stage they saw enough to kind of trust Jesus enough so as to just let him do what Jesus does. And he knows what he's doing. Okay, they didn't want to interrupt. They didn't want to. It's unlike what Peter's later going to do. They were just as confused. They were just as confused as she was. She was confused. They came. She left. They were confused. Why? But they did not ask. And it's kind of the interesting thing as well, the difference between them and her, and I think John is bringing this out here as well, is they didn't ask any questions. Right? They were confused, but they didn't ask. Okay? This woman, she was confused, but she asked. Okay? Again, that is a very strong point that John is bringing out the whole time, that even the disciples did not ask. This woman, she was better than them. They did not ask. She asked. Why? Why? And again, that for them, for this leadership that did the same as they did, it is then a good excuse again to see over and over again from John's side, please leadership, please Israelis, please Pharisees, Sadducees, high priests, please believe. But we didn't understand, we didn't ask questions, but she did. If she could do the right thing, then why can't you? Okay, I think this is not just a question of, oh, when they were trusting Jesus or whatever, Jesus knows what he's doing, but the bigger thing that she's trying to get at here or that John is trying to get at here, is that this lowest of low, she was willing to ask questions, because she wanted answers. They, confused, not willing to ask questions. Why didn't they ask questions? Right? Not because they trusted Jesus, because they had a different heart, because they didn't understand yet. They understood, they didn't understand yet. That is a strong point that John is trying to do. So you need to see these things as well, and then you understand why John said that they didn't ask questions, because it has to do with that. Yes, they didn't ask questions, but that showed who they were. It showed the difference between the Samaritan woman and those who were supposed to know better.